Good morning. Welcome.
Yay! We're back to the Game The Gun Show.
Yeah.
Woohoo! We're gonna
We
have
are.
to come up with a good logo.
What is this? Is this the third week, or the what week are we on?
I think this is the fourth one.
Maybe it's four. I don't remember. I think you're right. I think it's four.
Because I did the first recording, then you did the second recording, and then last week's we still haven't uploaded. So yeah, this is number four. Look at us. That's like a habit.
It is. We're getting there. I know. And it's one of those things where we're like, especially me, like I know this morning, we're like, oh gosh, I'm struggling to get on the Zoom, and I'm running around. But let's just make it work. Let's just
Yep.
do it.
We just do it. And you know what? Do it messy. Like yesterday, I was telling you that I submitted a deal to be kind of like on our version of Shark Tank in the community. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is outside my comfort zone. It's not real estate related, but I'm like building a pitch deck and I'm building like and I'm using ChatGPT and then I'm using a different one. But I was like, and then putting all my numbers. And here's the blessing, right? Is that I could talk about my numbers and like where I am because I've done everything. And I
Yes.
think that's what happens when you're in it and you're not just owning it, you understand those intricacies. You could answer questions. Why do you think, like I was talking to a guy who buys businesses yesterday when I was structuring the deal. And he was like, well, I mean, how do you think you can get to 1 million in profit? And I said, well, because I'm, at 350,000 in sales in Keene, New Hampshire, where there's 25,000 people. I'm in Charlotte, where there's millions of people. There,
Yeah.
at the very least, I should be able to hit the same benchmark,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
At each location. And so you multiply it out and I've simplified and it's more profitable, blah, blah, blah. But the point
Yeah.
was I can explain that because I understand what I've done,
Yes. Yes.
right? And I think too, this is again, hopefully other business owners, sorry, we jumped right in, but
Yeah.
I think as business owners, we are in two modes. We're in like overthinking mode and we're kind of frozen
Mm-hmm.
and like not dealing with stuff because it's messy or scary or it means we suck, right? Or the other option is like screw it. I'm just going to try. What's worse that's going to happen? Let's just fail forward messily, right? And
Yes.
that's kind of so I've been in that mode for the last few days. So that's I love that mode. That's like the flow mode. It's like, oh, I'm going to do this and 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 I get it done.
Sometimes that's the mode that I get in a lot because it's just like it's
Yeah.
sometimes I put on the blind. I was like, okay, I don't want to know what it's about. I don't want to. I jump in and figure it out. I want to float. I want to swim. I want to kick, and I want to because if I overthink it, I'm never going to jump in.
Right.
You know,
You overthink it.
and
Mhm.
maybe it's that's strategy for people, but I've done it time and time again. I'm like,
That's how
I
I
don't.
opened all my restaurants. I was like, I'm just going to open a restaurant. People
Yeah,
like, well, are you what? Wait, wait, wait. Why are you sure? I'm like, what's the worst that's going to happen? That I'll close? So what? I mean,
I did the same thing. I did the same thing. I was like, I'm opening a restaurant. I'm going to do it. I had zero experience, and I said, I'm just going to do it. I'll learn. I'll figure it out.
I worked in restaurants. I was a waitress. I was like, but also I had my own business. So like I get like it's not so different, right?
Yeah,
It's the mechanics, right? Once you have those muscles of okay, number one, you need sales, right? You need leads and you need sales, okay?
yeah,
Then you have fulfillment, and then you have the org, the financials, the HR, the hiring, all the admin stuff. But
yes,
really that's all that you have. Those three pieces. And so if you can figure out those three pieces and you don't really have to worry about the other things until you actually have some sales.
exactly. You're right. You're right. Because you can worry all about that. There's no sales, right? Like sales is
Right.
not.
I mean, you could build, you know how many people have built their dream restaurant? I've talked to a lot of them, or built their dream
Yeah,
course or their dream whatever, and then they go to market it and nobody wants it.
exactly. No, I know because I know this because coming from the salon industry and the restaurant industry, it's like you put hundreds and thousands of dollars into your restaurant and then it
Yeah.
fails, and then you're
Yeah.
already $300,000 in debt. You're already half
You
a
dug
million.
a hole you have to get out of to start.
Exactly. So that's the hardest part, and and this is something that I learned in my salon industry when we were doing it, Food Blast, is that we actually took a model and we actually went into a space that was already built out, so it saved us
Same,
the cost.
same. Both of my restaurants were second gen spaces.
Exactly. We did it for restaurants. We did it for salons. We just went in there like, okay, if somebody's closing, we're just going to go in
That's
because
what I
they
do for my candy stores.
and we just turn on the lights and just do it. I
You
did it
have
for
to be flexible about your you know, if people are very into branding and they have a branding
yes,
portfolio of what colors and what fonts and what this and what that. And the thing is, you have to be a little bit more flexible
exactly,
on those things. You could have some, like, so for, I'll just use my candy store. My example is I have my bulk section, which is jars, and they're always glass jars, and they have either glass or a thing lid, right? Depending on how we're going to do it. Okay. And then we have piece candy, and then we have chocolate. Those are my parameters. Now, what that looks like in each location, like this McAdenville one where I am today, that one has some chandeliers, and my husband did some built ins and he made things, but that's the way it was.
yes,
So I just painted it a light pink. Now, my candy store in New Hampshire, because it's like my fourth location in New Hampshire, 18 years, but like we jerry rigged it. I've got like a lot of my original furniture that I bought from somebody else who was closing. And then I bought some chocolate cases from somebody. And I've got
yeah,
bins and I've got this and I've got that. I've got hundreds of jars with no lids
yes,
because people drop them. They're
yes,
like, how'd you get all these jars? I'm like, well, you think about 18 years and thousands and thousands and thousands of people lifting a lid, breaking it,
yeah,
right? So, I mean, the thing is, it's a little bit more piecemeal, right?
yes,
I would call it a little bit ghettofied, but like, but it's still loved and cherished by my customers because it's what they know. It's not the shiny, fancy, plasticky, fancy franchise. I think, you know, but again, in order to do that, you have to spend a lot of money and you don't even know if it's going to work.
exactly, exactly. Because and here's the thing. I think I've learned this lately. In a business, I thought it was about branding. Right? I thought it was about you got to brand it, you got to brand it, you got to brand it. I realized that has very minimum effect, especially from a
Yeah.
small point. It's
Hmm.
us. We are the brand that I
Yep.
had. It took me 20 years to realize that we were the brand. I used to
But not
hide.
only that, but the customer experience. So
Yeah.
like in your salon, did you read the E Myth?
Yes, I did. Yes, yes,
Okay, but so he uses the example of in that book, he uses a salon as an example. He goes and they don't wash his hair the first time and they wash it after. And they're like, this is weird. And he's like, no, it's the way you should do it. Da, da, da. This, and he's like, okay, cool. And he got a good haircut. So he goes back the next time and they wash his hair first. And he's like, wait a minute, I thought you said, no, 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 they were wrong. Da, da, da. And then the third
yeah,
time they did something completely else. And he was like, I don't know what I'm even buying. Right. Like, I want the same. And so when I read that as my first year, I was like, unless I'm going to be the person behind the counter every time,
yes,
I have to figure out how to at least standardize the experience, right? And so for me, that meant like they greet them. I call it the gatekeeper, but they greet in the same way. Every staff person says hello. They ask them if they've been in. They thank them for coming, and they explain how the jars work.
yes,
Every customer, every time. It's at least some kind of continuation, right? If they get greeted every time, they know. And if it's weird if it's not. You know what I
yes.
mean? But just simplifying that because it's not about the aesthetics.
It no, it's you can like it. It might attract you to get in, but once you get in, how long do you stay? Right? How do you
Yeah.
feel?
How do you
Yeah.
come back? How many times you come back? I'm having this issue with I think I don't know if we've talked about, but I have a co-brand, right? So I figured out this creative way to open a second location, not a lot of money.
Whole
So
brand.
we share a space. So basically, I was looking for a new space, and someone said I could use a partner. Now, just basic stats is that most retailers are skirting profitability. They have a lot of costs, a lot of expenses between cost of goods, staff, and other expenses and rent. They are very rarely super profitable.
Correct. Yeah.
So there might be a little profit and they pay themselves and they work some and whatever. But
Yeah.
so she said I could use a partner. So I was like, all right, well, let's talk about it. I had never thought about doing that. So she had a 1,500 square foot place, but not a ton. She wanted more traffic. So I was like, I could bring traffic. I mean, it's candy. There's no candy store around. This should be cool. And I had a benchmark of 250,000 that I expected because that shows you have some traffic.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Whether or not you're good with your revenue and what you do with it is a different discussion. But if you have 250,000 in sales, you have some traffic, you have some continuity, you have some repeat customers, you have something that's established, right?
Yes.
100, right? Like if you're the only one doing it and you're at 100, that's trickier, right? You
Yeah.
don't have a system. Anywho, so like she kind of fit all my benchmarks, but turns out she has a food truck, which
Okay.
is where most of her money was made. So she didn't have traffic. So I get she didn't share that and I didn't think to ask. Anyway, long story short, but I went in there kind of like you've seen probably like Dunkin' Donuts and Baskin Robbins are together.
Yes. I've been seeing that a lot more. Yes.
Yeah. Taco Bell and KFC are sometimes together, right? Those kind of things. Like they share staff,
Yes.
but they're different entities. And the idea is that the one is going to help boost the other, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Um, and so it was just a different concept for me. I was like, this is interesting. And I could go really fast and help somebody to be more profitable. Because again, most are not profitable, but they have to have a system and they have to have a proven methodology. And that's why I have a benchmark of that number because that just shows they have it, right? Like if it's their first year and they've done 75,000, they don't really know enough about who their customers are and they
Yeah.
certainly haven't figured out they might have figured out how to get them in the first place. That might have been accidental even, but they don't necessarily have the system set up to get them to come back,
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
right?
How do
And
you?
consistent experience.
Yes. I don't know anything about like a candy store, right? But I know that we had our, and we still have a few of the salons. But when we had like a lot, like 10, we have always added different items, right? So they came for the, let's say for example, the haircut. Okay, they came for the haircut. It wasn't a haircut. It was something else. We talk about that later. But they
Yep.
came for the haircut.
Mm-hmm.
But we always had things at the counter, right? Like the stuff that they can
Right.
just grab, right? So it was
Upsells. Yeah.
upset. And then from there we had, like jewelry, we had women's boutique, we had all these things that we kept adding on that we're thinking like, okay, these are the stuff that people can pick up and it's going to help sales because our service stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
It change, right? That amount, that number doesn't change because it's still
Mm-hmm. Right.
do a decent job. They're going to keep coming in, and we only
Yeah.
have X of rooms, X amount of employees. It stays
Mm-hmm.
that amount, but the
Right.
sale is what we try to push. So it's like, so I always back then, 10, 15 years ago, I always thought like, okay, if we had a store, I don't know how these, and this is times have changed now. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how these stores, like this cookie store or these like one item store, how they stay afloat because I am so used to having like 20, hundreds
Yeah.
items, like they can have different varieties.
I think
But
sometimes, so my co-brand, my partner, she has a little bit of everything in her shop, and I don't know that it does her justice. So we've talked about it, she and I. So this is nothing like I'm not sharing any proprietary information, but like she's selling some dessert stuff, right? Not
mhm,
my candy. Like I have my candy in like one area.
yes,
She's doing boba and stuff. She's doing coffee. She added ice cream. She's adding French macaroons. She has like jewelry. She has t-shirts. She has artwork on the wall. She has like sunglasses, and
yeah,
she
like
just has
different
a
stuff.
lot of those things. And
Yes,
I'm like, this is kind of distracting to
yes,
me, right?
yes, yes,
And that's just my opinion. And she's like, oh, but they can extra sales, and I
yes,
get it,
exactly.
but the thing is, like, if you are solid, I'm I'm a candy store. If I started selling sandwiches, it gets confusing, right?
Yes,
Doesn't
yes,
mean I can't do good sandwiches. It doesn't mean that there's a lot of chocolate shops that do soups and sandwiches just to kind of like bump up their revenue.
yes,
But the reality is do I want to be like a flea market or do I want to be what I am? And I think that muddies. Now you're a salon with all those extra things. You still are doing the core service, and those are
yes,
like you're sponsoring somebody local, whatever. And I could see or like hair products, or those are good verticals. Like
yes,
those are things that contribute to the care, the long. Plus, your business is an automatic subscription system, right? In the sense that whether or not you're doing it as a subscription, but you people their hair grows. Now I'm like an anomaly because I go like every 6 months.
yes.
I'm pretty lazy about that, right? Until my grays are really bad. And then I'm like, please fit me in this week. Um, but I just I don't really do anything. I'm pretty laid back. But most people are on the 4 to 6 week plan. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes. Three to 4 weeks.
See, I don't even know. But like, so you have customers, you're going to get them 12 times a year, at least, maybe an extra if they have an event or they want to try something else or whatever, right? So, like those, I mean, that's guaranteed 12 sales. So, I'm working on a project. Again, I'm jumping topics. Sorry. I'm excited about. So, like, you know that have you heard this saying that there's 3 ways to grow your business? There's only 3 ways. It's
I've had, but
more customers,
mm,
more often
okay.
for higher ticket value. So you
Okay.
can either get more people in, you can get your people back more often, or
Yes.
you can raise the average ticket value. Okay?
Okay.
Those are the only 3 ways you can build your business.
Yes.
So I launched a program at my candy stores here, and I think it's really going to work. And I've already had 2 successes so far that I was here to experience. But basically, it's like, okay, what if you could have one new client every day? Just one. Okay.
Yes.
What is that? Like, what's a salon? What is that ticket worth for you?
It would
40
be a
bucks?
it would be a higher ticket, right? So in the salon, it
Yeah, it
would
doesn't
be
have to be. It could just be a
so
haircut.
so it would probably be we want to hit that hundred mark, right? 80 to 100.
Really? Geez Louise. See, you're talking to the wrong girl here. But okay, so
Well,
let's just say
well,
they're worth 100 the
yeah.
first time, right? And if they have a great experience and they love it, they're going to be back. That customer is worth 1,200 a year
Yeah.
plus.
Yes.
One customer. But what if you could just have one new customer every day? So in a candy store, my average ticket is 10 to 15 bucks, depending, right? But they don't come in all the time. They're not on a regular. They come in when they feel like it or if they have a holiday. So holidays drive traffic, and then celebrations, and then if there's something going on, right, or just for fun, like oh we'll take the kids or whatever. Okay, there's not really a reason you have to go every 4 weeks. So for me, I need more customers because they're not coming as regularly and they're not coming systematically. They're coming more sporadic. Um, but I figured out this thing that if you could get one new customer a day, so figure 30 new customers over the month, and then on top of that, you could retain 20% of them, the impact compounded, right? What if you get them to come back every month?
Yes.
Just some of them.
Yes.
And now they've spent another 20. That the compound effect could be 10 to $15,000 extra a year just by one customer a day. And that's low ticket, obviously, right? That's so think coffee shop, one new customer a day. So what would it be worth it to you to get one new person a day? So what I launched is I give them, I'm running ads on Facebook, and it's like, hey, we're new here. Like we want to get to know the community. We want to know you so much that your first bag of candy's on me. So come in, click it, sign up. I'll send you the coupon. You have 7 days to use it. And
Yes.
so the first one that I was here to, someone came in. She came Monday. We're closed Monday. So she came back Tuesday to use her free coupon. It's for, $4 worth of candy. It's
Yes.
not, but it's the experience. They are doing it. They're making their own, right? So it's an experience. She brought her mother, her husband, and her 2 kids. So I gave her $4 worth of candy.
Yes.
She gave me $30.
Wow. Wow.
The next day, someone came in. She got a quarter pound, so she got exactly what she wanted to, right? She got what was free, but then she bought from my chocolate cakes. She probably spent another 10 or 15. So I got
Wow.
a new customer who spent more than what I offered for free,
Yes.
and hopefully they were thrilled and they come back.
I like that. I like that because I have another angle to it from
Yeah, tell
from
me.
different business. But no, but I really like what you said. I because it's that you got to drive people in through the door, right? Once they come in.
Mhm,
Oh,
mhm.
okay. Let me tell you first what I was thinking.
Okay,
So
tell me.
my 12-year-old, almost 13, my 12-year-old, he wanted this Pokemon cards, and he's like, Dad,
Okay,
can you Target? That's what I took to Target last night to
okay.
get Pokemon cards. And it wasn't there. He went all over the place. He couldn't find it. And then he said, "Oh, okay." And then his brain starts kicking. He's like, "Oh, I need to get some Band-Aids." I'm like, "Why do you want Band-Aids?" And he comes with this big red bag with the what do you call it? Like the Red Cross bag, the
Oh, the
bag that
first aid bag.
first aid bag. That's what it is. Yes. And he's like, oh, and these are free if I buy three Band-Aids. So he went and he bought the brand store brand. Like I'm like, who reads this stuff? And he's like living on this stuff. I'm like, okay, you're driving me
Oh
crazy.
my gosh, he's a marketer.
So so he went and he went to get the three Band-Aids, the cheapest
Hmm.
one, right? And
Yep.
he went to the front. It's like, hey, this is free, right? Like read it. He made the girl read it. It's sticking in her face like this, and and she said, well, and she couldn't figure it out. So we got her supervisor. Her supervisor, well, it has to be. It can't be a store brand. It has to be a brand
Right,
Band-Aids.
because they're
Oh,
paying for it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, because they're paying. So he went, and I told the girl, I was like, okay, just she's like, oh, I get. She's younger at the counter. She's like, I would do the same thing. It's so much fun. Like, why not? She said it's more about the experience and the fun of just doing the chase of it.
Uh-huh.
Yes, that makes sense. That's what
Right.
they were saying. Where
Mm-hmm. Your game, well, they mean they gamified it. To him, it was a game. To other
yeah,
people, are like, yeah, 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 right.
yeah,
But for the right person, it's a game. But it's like we were talking about this morning at breakfast. We had a meetup, and we were talking about the old school things. So like these in-person local stores. So I asked him. I said, "Tell me, when was the last time you saw a Facebook ad for a local business? Like nobody.
yes,
Nobody runs them,
yes,
and yet." That would stand out, right?
yeah,
So, but what's like old is new again. So, like, remember you used to get postcards when you were a kid? They would come to your house and they'd have coupons on them for the local pizza place, or you'd get a pizza and there'd be a $2 off coupon. And this guy this morning said, "My mom, we always got pizza on Fridays, and so, but she would save the coupons, and if it's expiring, they would order extra because they were going to save, right?" But
yeah,
like that is so ingrained in us. Now, I don't do a lot of coupons per se, right? 20% off. I don't do that.
no,
But what I am willing to do is to give you something for free to come and experience.
exactly, exactly,
And
yes,
that's my opportunity. So, like this idea of more customers, right? But if my experience sucks, they're not coming back.
exactly,
So it's
exactly,
got to be coupled with a good experience.
yes,
If I
yes,
make it a pain in the neck, if I'm like, oh, it's day 8, you can't use your coupon, they're not coming back. Like what
exactly,
that defeats the purpose, right?
yes,
But I mean, I'm in a new area in a town that's not very busy. I'm outside of Charlotte. I'm not in Charlotte proper yet. I have a couple lined up that I'm going to open. But the point is, like, I'm here in the middle of nowhere. Like, people don't know I exist.
yes,
Even if they look at it every day, think about how many stores they are in strip malls and whatever, right? You see so much every day, you don't even notice it.
yes,
But if you saw it on Facebook
yes. You're
and it
right.
got your
You're
attention,
right. Yes.
you would go check it out.
I was at a neighbor's party,
Hmm.
and my restaurant was in an area called Roswell, Georgia. It's a nice area, and
Hmm.
he, hey, how are you? And I met his friend who's from that area,
Okay.
and she's down from Roswell. I said, oh yeah, no, I used to own a restaurant there, and she's like, oh my gosh, I drove by the restaurant every day for 3 years, and
And
she's like.
said, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try
One
it.
day, yes. She said, one day. And then she said, but I never did. I saw that you guys shut down. Oh my gosh, I wish I would have gone in and tried it. And
So normal, though.
soul, like, the fuse in me is like, yeah, maybe if you would have tried it, I would have been still in business.
But it's our job to get them. So it's like so okay, as an owner, it's our job. We need leads. Period. That's the beginning, right? I think Pace talks about like what starts everything, right?
Yeah,
What starts thing is we need somebody to be a lead. Whether
yeah,
that's on Facebook, whether that's somebody seeing your sign, like whatever it is, you need people to notice you. That's number 1. So you have to get attention, and you can do that in a lot of ways, but then the
yeah,
second thing is you have to have them take action, especially
yeah,
if you're a retail location. You have to get them to come in, which require it's not as quick as, oh, let me push a button on my phone,
yeah,
right? You have to get them to take action. You have to motivate them. So that's step 2, right? Get their attention, get them to come. And then step 3 is like to get them to do something, to interact, to have some kind of connection and experience. Now, candy's an easy, like most people have some kind of candy memory that will spark and they'll have fun doing it. So, like, most people do not come to the candy store to not spend money.
Yes.
right?
But it's
Walmart, you're like, I don't want to spend.
but that's universal. I think your style is. By the way, I did not want to go to Target last night. He wanted to go.
I bet
I
you didn't.
and I don't want to go home, eat, and go to bed. And I ended up leaving there $100 later. I'm like, ah,
They get you every time. But that's the thing, you're there. And now it's their job. Once you're there, the owner's job is to get your attention and get you to be a customer, whatever level, right? Whatever level that is.
but what you're saying is universal. And I was going to bring my second part to that is the
Mm-hmm.
fact. So from the salon industry even to real estate, right? So for example, right now we're focusing a lot on co-living.
Mm-hmm.
So and I talked to my partner, and she was like, "Hey, should I lower this price?" Because we were doing more of a luxury, like a high end co living.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if you do, they're gonna come in, they're gonna stay. And if you even if you do it temporary, you did it for 3 months, where the price is
Yeah.
just like. But it's such a nice property that they want to stay, so they will always stay longer. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
concept. Get them in the door. When they're in the door, give them the experience, and if you give them the experience, they're gonna stay longer. So
That's right.
make what you're saying is universal, and it's just
Yes,
when
it is. It is.
the most important thing is eyes on you. How do you get them to convert?
Attention
How do you get attention? Yes,
and action, right? And then get them to be a customer. And so like that's basics of marketing sales, right? Is but then now you have to make it such an experience to get them to come back. Right?
yes,
Now you've got to stay top of mind. So this is why you have them sign up for a coupon and not just, hey,
yes,
come in and we'll give you free candy. You know, you have to sign up. You have to give me your cell phone number. Cell
yes,
phones deliverability is higher, and I'm going to text you the coupon. And when you come in, you got to show the coupon, and
yes,
then you're going to text me back redeemed. So I know you did it and I can tag my file, right? But guess
exactly.
what? Next month, when we have Easter, I'm going to send them a thing saying, hey, it's Easter. Come and check out for some cool stuff for the Easter basket. Right.
Yes,
And then the month after that, it's like, oh, it's the end of the year. It's graduation time. Or it's Mother's Day, whatever it is. But now I have a reason to talk to them and to stay top of mind. Like we do a newsletter. It's like, remember this candy, like Annabelle's, which is a big candy company that just closed last fall, and people have been looking for some of their candy, like Abba Zaba, and what was it, Look Bar. There's a bunch of them, and so they went out of business, and people are like, "Oh, I love that." I'm like, "Well, right, but not enough that they stayed in business."
yes,
Like, so now they want it. But my point is like that is, um, it's after the fact people are like, oh, like your restaurant person, like, oh, I always wanted to go there. When I closed my last restaurant, I was like, they're like, oh, I love that place. I'm like, well, not enough, right? That one was a landlord dispute. We were doing okay there, but I'm just saying, like, it's your job as the owner to get people to act, and you if but the interesting piece is the compounding effect of just a customer. So you have a natural subscription model, whether or not you use it as a subscription, like,
yeah,
because you could just make it automatic. You should. That's just
yes,
my opinion. You should
yeah,
make it like, hey, if you lock in your appointment, we'll just do it on auto draft, and then it'll just every time you don't have to worry about paying when you come, whatever, and we can just do it automatic, and then it's do 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 every month.
that's what we have to work on. We tried it a while back manually before all the CRMs and this technology.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
have to go back to the technologies now because we
right.
it's wow, and we've kind of semi exit out of it, but I think it's
Hmm.
still. I don't know. I still kind of play around with the fact that we may, it's self like it runs on itself. It's not. It has nothing to do
Yeah.
with. We're not there.
Well, right,
We're not.
and sometimes when it's easy, you don't want to mess with it. You just
Exactly.
let it be, right? Let it be what it is, and that's enough. But I mean, these are people who need to get their hair cut every 4 weeks or whatever, right? It's like and if you could get them an extra, right? Or because they're a member, they get 20% off whatever you're selling in the store, like whatever, right? The friends and that was my pitch, was friends and family club, and your first bag of candy's on us. But it's enough to get people to come in. I mean,
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't even tell them how much that's worth, but it's
Yes.
enough for them to come in. But the
Exactly.
compound effect is, okay, now I have a customer. I have a way to talk to them and a way to offer them things. What did I have before? Nothing. I had the hope and prayer that they would see my sign, see my
Yeah.
flag, and come in. Right?
Which is we know that's not enough. Yes.
Yeah. So,
So, but I think today's topic, I didn't think we were going to take that route, but we were talking about how do we how do we become mentor? And then it's I know I started learning about like funnels, right? Like the funnels,
Yep.
click funnels and things like that, right? So
Yep.
right, which ones? And I'm like, wow, that stuff really works. Like you take what we talked about. I know the example he said that I remember when he said is like, for example, you take a fries, right? McDonald's fries. You have your
Yep.
fries, your medium, and you have your large fries. Well, the small and the medium are just are big separation, but
Mm-hmm.
the medium to the large is only $1 extra. So what do you do? So you're like, oh, I'll go with the medium, but the better
Right.
value is the
Yep.
large. You end up buying the large. So it's like you give them those three options. It's very simple three options.
Mm-hmm.
Then you said, hey, and you can guide them to whatever direction you want to, just
Yep.
by making it a better value, right? So
And they do that with popcorn at the movie theater.
exactly, yes, yes,
And it's refillable. If you for a dollar more, you can refill it. I mean, and do you? I mean, if you have a whole family, you might. But if it's just you, are you going to really refill that? Like,
probably not. Yeah,
no,
less.
right?
Yeah,
But they're getting
but
the extra dollar out of you,
when
right?
you go into the theater, you buy it, and then when you get into the theater, do I really want to leave and go all the way out and get that extra popcorn and come back?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Right.
they will, but the majority of percentage will not. They'll
Yep.
opt in, not going to actually go in there and
Mm-hmm.
get the. So it makes
Yeah.
sense, and it's popcorn. I
Well,
mean, how
the thing is too is this is what the other thing I think this is a takeaway for people to think about. And again, that's not because I it's not because I've figured all this out, but over time I've taken the time. Is that so they call that a growth flywheel. If you have a consistent way of getting leads that change into customers and you could document what happens every step of the way, then that's something that once you start it, it just keeps going, right? A
yes,
flywheel just keeps going until you stop it, until some outside force stops it. So if you can just start that funnel of new people, right? And then you make sure, so you're improving all the way. Okay, we got people came in and they redeemed it. Excellent. Is it working? Is the landing page okay? Is it like where are the optimizations? Okay, is my staff doing the right job? Are they friendly? Are they nice? Are they explaining? Are they thanking them for coming in? Had they made it pretty frictionless, right? As soon as they came in, like, oh, that's so exciting. Congratulations. Like, are they making it fun? Right? So then we improve that piece, right? Then we offer them, like, have you tried this? Like, we give them a sample, or we talked about, like, did you see all the retro candy? Even it's just a fun walk down memory lane, right? Or whatever we're doing to kind of up the cart value while
yes,
they're here, but all with the guise of they're enjoying themselves, right? We're
yeah.
chatting them up and whatever. So now they've had a good experience and say, oh, Easter's coming. We just got our Easter stuff and it's not time yet, but like, see it? Whatever we're doing, we're seeding that, right? But that whole process is documented somewhere, right? So what do I do if they don't redeem their coupon? What do I do then, right? What automations can I set up? I already have the lead. Do I
Yes.
just talk to them as if they came? Do I send them a follow up after they said, hey, I redeemed it? Do I tag them as a customer now, not just a lead, but then
Yeah.
also, am I thanking them and giving them another offer to come back? Like, what am I doing? And laying that out and coming up with a whole plan, a flow of what's going to happen when helps you really think about the process.
But that this process, I just want to say, Tracy, I would, and I don't know the numbers. I'm just guessing, right? Probably like
Mhm.
9% of all small business owners do not think about this.
No.
It's not. There's no
Nope.
process. Wake up, open the doors, do what we
They
do for.
might know it intrinsically, like how
Yeah.
to, right? They're salespeople naturally because this is their
Yeah.
business, but
Yes.
they're not thinking about all those
No.
pieces and all the waste.
Yes. Yes.
Now, if you could change some of that waste into profit, you have a whole different business.
Because that's the same. Like, and I'm that waste. I'm what you just said. I'm that waste. Right. Over the years, as I've gotten to be a tired business owner, and my employees are that waste because they're wasting so much opportunity. And
But if you optimize in one way, right? The encouragement is to just, so I don't think it's here. No.
but
So
the stuff
I
people.
had documented with this. Like I just got a whiteboard and I wrote down all the steps that I could think of. Like, and I just wrote it down, put it on the whiteboard. And then
Yes.
like, okay, all right. And then like I get them from Facebook, right? And they opt in. But what happens when they don't opt in? Yes,
Yeah.
no, right? Okay, yes, they opt in. This is what happens next. This one, no, this is what happens next. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I can
Yeah.
retarget them.
Yeah.
But I just took this and put it all out. I used the top of a freezer once
That.
because, it's white. But
Yes.
then it was all on there. And then I drew lines like, okay, and this one. And then if they get here, but then they drop out and nothing happens after 60 days, this is what I do. But you set that up one time.
Yes.
And now with AI, you could just drop it into ChatGPT and say, I'm running a program where I get one new customer a day. Tell me what I should do to maximize. And it'll lay out every step for you.
Oh
It's
my God.
that easy.
So right. You're so right. Yes. Yes.
But it's just
Now.
implementing. But if you pick one piece to implement,
Now.
then
What
it
do you, are
and
you
improve.
you did it with the whiteboard, but did you do it? I know our time's kind of running short a little bit, so I
No,
have to.
that's fine.
But are you doing it with like a CRM, or are you doing it just like you said?
So I lay it out so it makes sense. Because like you can start to draw, but then you run out of room. At least
Yeah.
these you can move.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I no, I don't want that to be there. I want it to be here. Or like
Yeah.
you can move it around
I
and
like
then
it.
you can see the flow of what happened. Where it's called your customer journey, right?
Yeah.
From lead to customer to regular customer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To, and there's another saying about like your raving fans, right? Because the goal is to get them from being a lead to giving you money, right?
Yes.
And then once they give you money, they want you to give them money again. And
Yes.
then once they've done that twice, they probably are likely to do it again unless something. So that's a good time to ask for a review. Ask them to come, like, how was your experience? Right? Find out data. But then after that, so then you want to make them another offer. If they haven't come in 30 days, you
Yes.
shoot them off a thing, right? You can target. But then after that, after they've now bought from you 3 times, now again, yours is a little different, but now they're probably going to stay with you.
Yes.
There's going
Yes.
to be have to be something big that happens for them to stop coming to you after three
Yeah.
times,
Because we
right?
are human and we are a creature of habits too.
Correct. Nobody
Yes.
wants to find somebody new because they don't know what, rather stay with what they know.
Yes.
It's not painful enough, even if they don't love everything. They're going to stay with what they know versus go venture out and find something new. That
Yeah.
requires more effort.
It
But
does.
so then you build this out. Now that person's like your fan. How can you take them from regular customer to raving fan who tells everybody? Bring a friend, buy one, get one, right? If
Yes.
you're a boba shop, like bring your friends and I'll give your friend a free one.
I love that.
Now you're encouraging them to bring somebody else. Oh, let me
Yeah.
bring you to my favorite boba shop. You can get a free one today. Like, but now you've outlined like this whole customer journey from like lead all the way to raving fan. And if there's a screw up in there, how do you fix it?
Yes.
Do you just call it a day? Do you see what I'm saying? But like you've created, they call it the value journey. But like how do they flow through that? And then you can see and track where do they fall off? Do they fall off when John works every time? Did everybody who was working, who brought their coupon in when John was here, did they all
That,
not come back? Well, now you know something.
we all have one of those. Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Right? You're tagging who waited on them or who cut their hair, right? So, but like now, so that's your customer value journey. But then you also have the same for fulfillment, right? Okay, you get a customer. What happens?
Yes.
How does the customer, like you have a customer, did they do this? Did they, like for ecom, that's a little easier, right? You get the order. Now what happens? Right?
Yes.
You send out an email saying, yes, this is your order confirmation. You give them pertinent information. Then you give it to this person who's going to fulfill the order. Then this person is going to double check the
But
order, right? And buy the shipping and then bring it to the shipping. And then this person, and then we're going to 5 days check up with them. How did it go? Did it arrive? Things get lost, right? Wouldn't it be nice if you, as the owner of the business, noticed after a week it never got there, that you reached out and say, hey, did this not come? Like what, right? Wouldn't that be forward? Like they'd appreciate that,
it,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
And then, and if it didn't, you can research whatever, but then also, hey, how was it? Did you like the stickers we sent? How was the
Yes.
fudge? We love fudge. Whatever it is, right? But the point is like you can document and improve that,
I love that.
which will guarantee that they come back.
Let me tell you this here. I would say, I would guess that 90% of all small business
Probably
owners,
95.
maybe that will not do, because I am guilty of that. I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
No.
One
But
of
you
the
don't
just
know about it. Most people don't think about it because you're busy
no.
running it.
No, I know I do know about it. I've heard about it, but it was just like, okay, that's for later. That's for like a computer to do, right?
Well, that's
It,
like planning your exit. Same
yeah,
thing.
yeah, no, but when you do plan your exit, but that's the reason why we had this Zoom, and I have
Yeah.
another idea. But let's well, let's end this
I mean,
Zoom
this
with
was about what to do with customers and how to get them in your business, right? And the impact, this is the best part, okay? This is the motivation, is to get them in so they give you more money, so you're more profitable. So you
yes,
have more stability. So you can now, at that point, improve your systems or systematize it so much that you can actually get some of your life back.
exactly. No,
That's
very
kind of
true.
the goal, right?
Well, I'm going to cut it short, and then
Yeah, we're done. We're good.
guys. Thank you so much. We guys see you guys soon, and
Oh
bye bye.
gosh, put it in the